All right, guys, this is going to be part one of our first Photopea digital arts project. This is going to be our pizza project. And although it is our first Photopea project, this is actually our second unit. Our first unit, we did a little bit of practice and we did some elements and principles review. So for this project, I need you to start, you're going to pull up this video while you work on your own project in Photopea. So if it works easiest for you to split your screen, or if you would rather look at the video on your phone or a tablet and then do the project on your Chromebook, whatever works easiest for you. So you can feel free to pause the video at any time or rewind the video. You can always ask me if you're running into some trouble. That is what I'm here for. So before we get into it, I just wanted to show you a couple of things. So if I go into a Google Classroom, you should have a couple of things here. The link to my website is right here. This is the digital arts / art / photography website. So that will take you, that will take you right here. Digital arts is right here at the top, or you can click on it this way. We are currently in Unit 2, so these are all the units that we'll be doing. So in each unit, you will see the tutorial video. That will be this one here. The reflection, which we're going to do at the end. So don't worry about the reflection until I tell you to start working on that. So that's our last step. I also have a rubric. I have one of these for every project. This is just showing you what I will be grading for. It includes participation and craftsmanship and effort, things like that. And this shows you all of the points that you will need to get the grade. Okay. I also have all of the extra things that you'll need while we work on this project. So all of these we're going to be using for our pizza project. So just keep in mind that they are all found on this website, which can be found on the Google Classroom. I also have created the Photopea keyboard controls. This is a Google Doc that I posted in here for you. Every time that we learn a new keyboard control, I will put it in this Google Doc. That way you can kind of, it doesn't mean anything right now, but it will. That way you can use this as like a cheat sheet. So while you're working in Photopea, you can say, oh, wait, how do I zoom in again? And then you can realize what the keys are. So we will be using these keys today. It's always easier to use a keyboard shortcut. So just, I would have this handy, or maybe write this down on a separate piece of paper. That way you don't get too frustrated. Okay. So now that we went through all of that, I believe that's everything about Google Classroom. Yes. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is go into Photopea. So it's photopea.com. It should take you to a screen like this. And then we're going to click New Project. Okay. We're in New Project. This is the new project. And what we want to do is we need to name this project. That way you know what you're looking for when we save this, because we probably will not get this done in one day, nor do you have to. So it's important that we name it so you'll know what to look for. So let's name this one Pizza, and then your name. Obviously, don't write the words your name, just write your actual first name. We're going to change our width and height, but first we have to change this px. Px means pixels. We're not working with pixels. We're going to be working with inches. And we're doing this because if we print these out or send them digitally, it's easier to read on all documents as inches. So our width is going to be 8.5 and our height is going to be 11. That's the size of a standard piece of computer paper. You must change inches first, then the width and height. If you try to change the width and height before you change it to inches, it's never going to stay. Our DPI, that's dots per inch. That's going to be 300. 300. That way it's nice and clear, not pixelated. Okay, now once you have all of this situated, you are going to keep the background to white. You're going to click Create, and it will take you to your page. Okay, So there's a couple of things on here that I just wanted to point out. This is our left toolbar. It's important because this has all of the tools that we'll need. If you right click on them or click and hold, you will see that there's like a bunch of other tools that are behind it. So just if you want to take your time, you can see what you can do about seeing where all your tools are, where they belong. I know that my eraser tool is behind my brush tool. Some of yours might be just like mine, or your eraser tool might just be on its own. So I would go through and check just to see that you have everything. Our top toolbar here, this is just we have file and edit. We'll be using file and edit a lot. File we use to save. Edit we use a lot to do like undo, copy, paste, merge, things like that. And then our layers panel over here on the bottom right. Photopea, we work in layers. So we have our background layer. So each time we add another image, it's another layer. That way, if you realize you made a mistake later in the game, then you can say, okay, well, which layer is that on? So now I can just fix that specific thing without messing up the rest of my project. But you'll learn all about these and it'll be a breeze. So to start, we are going to start making our pizza. But first we need our pizza crust. So to do that, we are going to find our ellipse tool. The ellipse tool is all the way down at the bottom, but it looks like the rectangle tool. So if you right click on the rectangle tool or click and hold, you'll see that you get a bunch of these shapes. We're going to find the ellipse shape and we're going to click on that. All right, now this way you can kind of make your own circles. You have a bunch of things you can do, but we are going to, instead of making it this way, if you hold down the shift key and then click and drag, you will always make a perfect circle. So I want you to hold the shift key, click and drag, and make a circle. If you don't like how your circle turned out, to undo it, this is on the cheat sheet that I posted. You can click Control Z as in zipper. That will undo it. So I'm going to make it again. I'm going to hold down my shift key, make my circle. So once you have a circle about this big, you are good to go. The next thing that we're going to do, we're going to click on the move tool, which is this first tool up here. It looks like the cursor. This is your most important tool. And now you're able to move it wherever you want. So just try to center it. And then now we need to change the color. So the color, to do that, first, to change the color of shapes, we have to do something called rasterize. To be honest, I don't know exactly why. This is just the rule in Photoshop and Photopea. It's just something that I never questioned. So to do this, you're going over to your layers panel over here, and where it says shape 1, you're going to right click, and right here it says rasterize. You're going to click rasterize. Nothing changes, but now you're just able to edit the shape. So we want to change this to be the color of crust because red is not the color of crust. So we are going to find our paint bucket tool, which is right kind of in the middle. It looks like it's in here with this gradient tool. So just right click or click and hold and you'll see paint bucket and then you can select the paint bucket. Now we need to find our color picker. The color picker is on the bottom of the toolbar. It is 2 boxes. It's a black box and usually it's a white box, but right now mine's red. Yours is probably a different color. So you always want to click on the top box. So I'm going to click on this red box. And I'm going to move around and see if I can find a crust-looking color. There we go. Once you find your color, just click OK. And then since we're already in the paint bucket, we can just click right on our circle and it changes. All right. So what we want to do next, we want to click on the move tool just to bring us back to home base. And we want to add our sauce. So we're going to use the paintbrush tool for that. So our paintbrush tool is towards the top middle. It either looks like this. It might look like the pencil tool. So I would click and hold or right click just to see where your brush tool is located. Okay, next we need to find a sauce-like color. So we are again going down to our color picker. You're going to click on that brown box from your crust And you are going to find a crust color. It's a little bit too pink for me. Yeah. Okay, that sounds good. And then we are going to use our paintbrush to paint our crust on. Now, this is a very tiny paintbrush. This is going to take us forever. We don't want to do this. What we're going to do is change the size of our paintbrush. To do that, we are going to click the bracket keys on our keyboard. They look like this. Here's one, and then here's the other one. They are sort of close to your backspace key. And clicking one of them makes your paintbrush bigger, and one of them makes your paintbrush smaller. So I'm going to let you guys play with that for a little bit. And then once you have the right brush size, you are going to start painting your sauce on. Do not use the ellipse tool for this. I would rather you use just painting on there because it's never perfectly on the pizza. So we're going to try to make it look as good as we can get it. Again, if you mess up, Control Z is the undo button. So you can undo as many times as you need to. All right, that looks good to me. Looks like a homemade pizza. All right, once you have your sauce, you can go ahead and click the move tool. And now we are going to put our cheese on. So to do this, we are going to click on the eraser tool, which is, mine's behind my paintbrush tool. So if I right click, I find my eraser. And now we're going to make a bunch of little lines. I'm going to zoom in a little bit, and that's Control plus is to zoom in. Control minus is to zoom out, just so I can see it a little bit better. And you're just going to make a bunch of little lines all over your pizza to make sure that it looks like a pizza. So I'm going to pause my video so I can finish making this cheese without you having to watch me, because it'll probably take me a good couple of minutes. And then I will come right back as soon as I'm done. Okay, I have finished putting on all the cheese. Again, if you do go over it like this by accident, you go over the crust, just click Control Z and it will undo that for you. So, okay, once you have your cheese, we are going to add our toppings. So, I need you to click on the Move tool right up at the top. And then we're going to go back into the website and we are going to find the toppings, which is right here. We're going to right click, copy image, and then go back into Photopea and then edit, paste. Okay, so here they are. All right, so if I'm going to try, first I'm going to try to make these a little bit bigger so they fit in with my pizza. So to do that, I'm going to click edit at the top and then free transform. This will change the size of anything you want to change the size of. I'm just going to stretch it out a little bit so it kind of takes over the pizza. That's good. All right, once you have sized it the way you like, you can just click enter on your keyboard and it will be placed. Okay, so the first thing we need to do with this is we need to take this white background away. So to do that, we are going to use our magic wand. The magic wand is, I believe it's the third tool down, so it looks like it's this bean thing. So if you right click or hold and click, you'll see the magic wand is in this menu here. There are 4 different types of selections for magic wand, and they are here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. You want to make sure that the second set of circles is selected. Once you have that selected, you are going to click somewhere on the white background of the toppings, doesn't matter where, and then you'll see all these dotted lines come up. Once you see all these dotted lines, you know that your background is selected, so we're going to cut these out. So to cut them, you can click Control X on your keyboard, and that will cut it out. There you go. And then to get rid of all of these dotted lines, you can click Control D, which will get rid of the dots. Again, there are lots of controls on your keyboard, but I added them all to our list, so I suggest maybe writing them down. There are still some white backgrounds behind the olives and the onions, so I'm going to go ahead and click on all of those. and then they should just start getting selected. Okay. All right, now once you have all of these selected, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna cut the white background, so you're gonna click Control X, and there goes your background. And then to get rid of these dots, we will do Control D. All right, now make sure you click on the Move tool again. That way, look, we can move these around. I'm just gonna move them over here for a second so I can see my pizza. So the next thing you're gonna do is we're gonna start taking apart these toppings. So to do that, you are going to go into the rectangle select tool, which is right underneath your move tool. And once you have clicked on that, you are going to, this is how you can start selecting each of these toppings and scattering them around your pizza. So let's say I wanted to take this piece of pepperoni. I would just highlight it like this. And then I should be able to move it, but first I have to click the Move tool. So if I don't click the Move tool, it's just going to move this box. I don't want that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click my Move tool, and now I can move my pepperoni. So I'm going to put this one somewhere over here. And then you just do that same thing again. You click the selection box, you take a topping, click the Move tool, and then you move it. A lot of times students will say, wait, how do I move this? The Move tool. So that's pretty easy to remember, I would say. You always can move with the Move tool. So I am going to move around all the toppings. You don't have to click all of the toppings, but how I would like if you could do at least 2 different toppings scattered on your pizza. That would be great. So again, that is the rectangle select. You draw your square, move it with the Move tool somewhere on your pizza. Now, if you know that you don't want certain toppings, like I know that I do not want the pineapples, you can take these away with your eraser tool. But make sure that you hit Control D first. That way nothing is selected. If I click my eraser tool, make my brush a little bit bigger, I can just start erasing away the ones that I don't want. So I am going to pause my video so I can go ahead and fill in the rest of the toppings because it might take me a little while, and then I will come right back here and finish the rest for you. Okay, I have successfully placed all of my toppings and I have erased the ones I did not want, and now I have them all right here. So the next thing that we want to do before we move on, I want to name our layers. So if you come to your layers panel, I have shape 1 and layer 1, but I don't really know what those things represent. So if I click on shape 1 and then I click on this eyeball, I'll be able to see which layer that is. And then same thing for layer 1. So I am going to name shape 1 my pizza layer. So I'm going to double click on the word shape 1 and I'm going to make this pizza. And then layer 1, I am going to make toppings. So now I know that I have my pizza and my toppings. I don't have to keep clicking the eyeballs to figure that out. Okay. The next thing that we're going to do, make sure your toppings layer is selected. We are going to do burning and dodging. So that is shadows and highlights. So the burn and dodge tool is actually in the same menu. It looks like a lollipop right here. If you click on that, you right click or you click and hold, you have your dodge tool, your burn tool, and the sponge tool. We're not using the sponge tool in this one. We will be using the burn tool and the dodge tool. So let's start with the burn tool. Looks like the hand. You want to make sure your midtones, your range is at midtones. Your exposure is at 50%. So you can use the menu up here to change the size of your brush if you would like. Or you can use your bracket keys on your keyboard. I always think that the bracket keys are much easier than using the menu, but that is up to you. Okay, so I'm going to use this to add a little bit of cooked crust. Okay, as you can see, it is not working. I wonder why it's not working. The reason it's not working is because our toppings layer is selected. So it's only going to burn the toppings, you see? So what we want to do is go to our pizza layer. And then once we click on our pizza layer, you'll see that it works on our pizza. Although now it doesn't work on our toppings. So if you want to burn your toppings, you'll have to do it on your toppings layer. So go ahead and start picking out sections of your pizza that you would like to cook or burn. And then we are going to do some highlights. Okay, so I have burned everything I wanted to burn, including my pizza and my toppings. So now I am again going to click on my pizza layer, and we are going to give the pizza some highlights. So you're going to go to your burn tool over here. It looks like the hand. Right click or click and hold, and then you're going to click on the one that looks like a lollipop. It's the dodge tool. And then you are going to do the same exact thing, only this time you're going to add a little bit of highlights. So the more that you go over it, the lighter it's going to be. So if I just go over it once like that, it's not too light. But if I go over it like a bunch of times, it's going to be really light. So use that to your discretion. And if you want to put some highlights on your actual pizza, you can do that as well. It is up to you. Okay. Let me see. Do I want to highlight my toppings? All right. Okay. So once you have all of this highlighted, burned, go back up to your move tool. And then we are going to end part 1 at this point, and then we are going to start part 2 after this one. So since we're still working on this project, it's not done. We still need to add a few things. We are going to save it. So you're going to go up to File, Save as PSD. That means Photoshop document. So that means if we save it as a PSD, you'll be able to access it through Photopea again and again and again. When we're totally done, we're going to save it as a different type of document, but we're not there yet. So if you just click Save as PSD, then you should see your the download manager will pop up. This is going to take me to my files. I'm going to click Save. And once you see your download manager pop up, you can show in folder if you would like. But that means now that it is in your recent files, and I believe it is also in your Google Drive. So once you're finished with part 1, you don't need to submit anything. You can just either pick up on part 2, or if this is towards the end of the class, you can save it and start part 2 for next time.